so many powerful shares, and so many that I'd love to have had the time to incorporate into what I'm going to be sharing with you. So it may come through, because a lot of what you're going through, and I think what all we're going for, is what brought me to this place to share. So thank you. I'm honored to be here. Again, my name is Tina Marie. And this morning I want to tell you of a power that you know you have. It's inside you, but many times it goes unnourished, untapped, and oftentimes sought out in our lives in places that we'll honestly never find it. It's a power that we heard of yesterday when Mary was talking about upgrading her hard drive. It's a power that we heard of when Dorothy decided at the age of 65 to find something that she didn't know was missing, but she knew it was there. It was the same power that Ricky spoke of whenever she said, I'm going to go for this by myself. You know, just let me do this, you know? And the power that I speak of is our self-esteem. And it's something that we don't really learn in our youth, how to even regard it, how to nourish it, how to find it. And when we do, what is it really for? There's a wonderful quote by an inspirational woman that we've heard of, Eleanor Roosevelt. And she says this, in fact, on your sheet, you have this. I wanted you to be able to take these things with you, because by the end of the talk, you're going to have the same mantra, the same program I did to bring myself out of a place in my life that had leveled me through a relationship that I found was inauthentic for me, and honestly for the other person as well. And her quote is this: a woman is like a tea bag. You don't know how strong she is until she's in hot water. How many can resonate with that one? Yeah, I know, me too. Well, I found myself on the other side of a 20-year marriage. I got married at 19. Well, actually, yeah, right before I turned 20. And on the other side of that 20-year marriage, I looked back in and found that was such fertile ground for amazing growth that I hadn't even sourced yet. And I wouldn't be able to really see that ability to grow unless I was on this side looking back into it. Yeah. Whenever we're into a challenging area, sometimes we're just stuck in it. But whenever we finally push through and get to the other side of it, we can look back and go, there was a yes in there waiting for me to see it. And there's this one evening that I remember, I think I was around 33 years old, and Rick and I had been married for 13 years at that point. And we went out for a date night. And we went to a wonderful restaurant in Houston. It's called Ashiana's, and it's an Indian food restaurant with white tablecloths and beautiful waiters, all dressed in tuxedos. And that night was Friday, and so they had wonderful music playing in the background, live music. The food was immaculate. The conversation was great, but something happened toward the end of the conversation. He said something, and you know what? I don't even remember what he said. I just remember my reaction. Tears started welling up inside me, and I could no longer control the emotions that were coming. And here I was at a very fancy restaurant, dressed to the nines. I ran to the restroom, and I quickly went inside the stall and shut it and sat on the toilet, and it just flowed. All the tears, all the emotions that I couldn't hold back just came. And a knock came on the door, and it was this lady, and I'd never see her face, but I heard her voice. And she said, honey, are you okay in there? Do you need some help? And I swallowed all the tears, and I mustered up a response, and I'm like, no, I'm fine, thank you so much. I find it funny how we can lie and try to appear well when support is coming at us. You know, she was there on the other side of a door going, I can help you. No, I'm fine, really. I composed myself with my makeup and everything inside the stall and came out, and Rick had already handled the check, and we were ready to leave. But something was coming up inside me at that moment, and it was what Ellie said. You don't know your strength until you're in hot water. And something was putting me in hot water that night. And the courage, Ricky's word, the courage that came up on the drive home was, Rick, I'm wondering what is it inside you that has you be able to say something that's hurtful. Again, I don't remember what he said that I took the reaction to, but his response to that question, it's so clear. It's as though he was right here saying it again. He looked at me and he said, I don't know. I think it's because I can. He wouldn't know the depth at which that touched me. That was an epiphany for me. Where had I allowed it to be okay for him to have that power over me? I learned that I'd given him a piece of myself called my self-esteem. And I'd given it to him, and not only him, but family members and bosses and my children. And I'd given it willingly because I was using them as a measure outside of me to say, am I okay? Did I do good? Am I beautiful? Am I capable? Am I worthy of your love? I kept using them as measurements on whether or not I was okay in this world, forgetting the entire time that I was a divine being breathed into this world for a purpose. It would take me to the other side of the 20-year marriage to look back in and get those gifts. But in that moment, something started birthing, and I developed a mantra that I want to share with you. And it was a mantra that came to me one morning, and I looked at myself in the mirror, and hair all fuzzed, bedhead. Just bedhead, sleepy in the eyes, no makeup. And something came up, and it was like this voice was looking back at me and said, "Hi, sexy." And I was thinking, who's saying that? But hi, sexy didn't mean sexy, the way that we can typically think of it. That type that reduces us to a sexual being, Brother Linda? That we think that this is how we get the love in our world, by giving something that somebody else wants, and then if we give it enough, then they're going to give us what we really want. It's not that. It's not reducing ourselves to something to be used. It's lifting ourselves up to authenticity, strength, like Eleanor said. Strength. It's our own individual feminine power to feel sexy. And what I did with that mantra was I developed something that I'd love to have you write if you have your pens. What it really means to us. Hi is H-I-G-H, high, divine, divine source. The S-E, you can probably guess it, it's self-esteem. High self-esteem exudes. Exudes. You gotta put an E in the front of it, but I use the X because it spells sexy. Yeah. Exudes yes. High self-esteem exudes yes. Now what does that mean? Self-esteem is a measurement in psychology that they tell us that whenever we have our self-esteem, it's our measurement of our own worth in the world. Am I competent? Am I worthy? Am I lovable? Am I intelligent? Am I beautiful? What's the other side of that? Am I not worthy? Am I not capable? Am I not intelligent? Am I not lovable? And then it's the feelings that come from those belief systems that we tell ourselves, that voice that we tell ourselves that we honestly don't want other people to know we're having run inside our head. The EXEs that Mary was talking about yesterday on our heart drive. The feelings of whenever we're in our yes mode, the feelings of gratitude and peace and joy and usefulness, worthiness in this world. On the other side of it, fear, loneliness, worry, despair, pain. So high self-esteem exudes. Whenever you're in that self-esteem, sometimes we can't get our own self-esteem going because we've been too far down in the dirt. Like me being in that relationship and not knowing that it was inauthentic. I really had no clue it was inauthentic. I said yes to it thinking this was the best that it's supposed to be because I said yes and there were vows that I took and damn it, I'm giving it my all. I am. And I'm not going to give up on this because I love him. I'm not going to give up on him because I love him. But I was a sprout that was still under the dirt. And I hadn't seen the light of day just yet. But that self-esteem, other people can look and see, you're more than you think you are. And we take mentors and those people around us that lift us up, the friends, what we learned about yesterday in the friend code. And then mentors like Mary and Ricky, and we come to these retreats and we lift ourselves up and we get back in touch with that essence that authenticity, the strength that we have and we know is there. But I want to invite you to not only have it here at the retreat, but to do a re-entry into your life and go, aha, here I am. And I tell myself, hi sexy. Because I know that high self-esteem exudes yes. And when you exude it, it grows and it just fills the room. Whenever you walk in, people want to know what you just took. What are you eating? Because I want some of that. What kind of sex did you have? Because I want some of that one too. And it could just be an outfit, like my dress last night. That was, you know, it was pretty hot. It was pretty hot. I wanted to wear that 2 days in a row, but we have rules against that for some reason. Who made up that rule? Yeah, there you go. You feel sexy and some keep wearing it, right?
Sometimes do it wrong. It's really cool.
There you go. And then people going, what did you do all night? Did you sleep? Did you not sleep last night? And then we come to the yes. High self-esteem exudes yes. What is yes? I mean, it's a word, 3-letter word, right? I took a poll of people. I have a work called Living to the Power of Yes, like Mary said. And it has its own evolution, but in the evolution of that, I interviewed people. And I said, what does it feel like to feel yes? They're going, I don't know what you're talking about. But whenever they got into the feeling mode of it, what does it feel like to feel yes? The majority of the answers back were yes. They couldn't define yes because yes simply is. Whenever you're down to the essential truths of life, those truths that they speak about in the Bible, the truths that shall set you free, there's nothing else to add to it. There's nothing to take away. It's your yes in your life, your divine purpose, your authenticity. You don't need to seek permission to be it. You don't need to seek forgiveness for doing it. You simply are. So high self-esteem exudes yes. Now I want to share with you how I developed it. I mean, it's great to talk about it and say it in the mirror every morning and in the evening and even in my rearview mirror, because I'd be going for sales calls and going, okay, I can use some of this self-esteem about now. But how do you really do it? Well, there's some boxes on your piece of paper. The first long one is called My Blast List. Now, how many people have heard of having a bucket list? A bucket list? Okay, I don't know if you recall, but the dudes in that movie were dying. And I am not thinking about checking out anytime soon, right? So I rephrased it to my blast list, because I'm blasting through the fears that are right there that have always prevented me from doing these things. You're going to have your list. At the age of 35, I created my blast list. And the first thing I wanted to do was get over my fear of heights. Well, my fans on my radio show decided, well, go skydiving. And I thought, oh, that's a bit much the first time, don't you think? I think I'll just try something simple, like jumping in the air. Jumping off a chair. But I went rock climbing. There's another story in that, but we don't have time for that this morning. So I took action. I had my list of fears, so I invite you to inventory your fears. Now get really humble and honest with yourself. What are you scared of? There's always the fear of flying, fear of heights, fear of the dark, fear of being alone, fear of dying. Whenever you learn to live full out, the fear of dying goes away. Because every day is a new birth. Brand new baby day, right, Mary? Every day is a new birth. So whenever, if that day you were done, you'd be going, I did it. I played full out. But inventory your fears and then address them one at a time, because when you live to the power of yes through this high sexy mantra, I guarantee even fear becomes your friend. Because fear walks with you and says, oh, by the way, you're supposed to be able to do this now. Oh, really? I'm supposed to do that? Yeah. You're ready for it. You're ready for it because you're fearing it. If you didn't fear it, it wouldn't be up in you, ready to say, okay, evolve. Evolve now.